Hey, what's up guys? This is Oakley. Now I'm sure you've probably seen the panoramic image of the campaign map. So again, as always, what I'm going to do is point out the little minute things that you probably missed. And we're also going to be discussing the 3 agent types that are going to appear in Rome 2 Total War. This is based off information we've seen in previous videos, stuff people have recently posted about the San Francisco event, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that to you. Again, I'd like to thank those of you who do visit the Rome Total War forums and who are actually knowledgeable on this stuff, but actually take the time to come back and rewatch these videos. That means a lot to me. It means that I'm, doing it right and bringing you the information. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. So, the 3 faction types that are going to be available are broadly the Champion, the Spy/Assassin, and then the Dignitary. So, here there are 3 different factions that I've kind of highlighted the image of them that I've picked out from various videos. So, on the very left is going to be the column basically representing the Champion. So, on the top is Egypt's Champion, the middle one for the sort of this Webby we haven't really seen, and the bottom is going to be Macedonian Champion. Anyways, what the Champion is basically, his role is he can harass enemy forces, do damage to them, create morale penalties. I think he can also sabotage their baggage train and stuff like that. Also, in terms of benefits to your army, he improves morale, he increases training, experience, provides buffs and stuff like that. What they also said is that these agent types aren't necessarily restricted to doing one certain thing. It's not a rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Depending on how you upgrade your agents, they can actually do the skills of other agents. So maybe your champion is really good at being, a traditional champion, harassing enemies, but there's no reason you can't upgrade him to be more of a spy type of guy, or more of a diplomatic, noble warrior type of guy. And that's something they emphasize, is that these agents will not be locked into a specific role. They can all do the similar things as each other, depending on, what culture they are, how you upgrade them, and different sorts of efficacy. Anyway, that's a Roman centurion, or some sort of Roman champion that we can see here. That's pretty cool to see what the Roman hero or champion will look like. I'm sure they'll come with names. Here's basically one of the Carthaginian ones that you can see right here, Alone in the Desert. So it seems like these are going to be one of the initial agents that you can use, and early on they'll be useful. Next is going to be the Scout/Assassin. Now it has 2 names, Scout and Assassin, because depending on which faction you are, some of your agents might be more Scout-oriented or Assassin-oriented. So, for example, the Barbarians, I'm guessing, will be more Assassination-oriented, whereas the Greek ones may be more court intrigue. They infiltrate cities, they do stuff, with diplomats, etc. So they'll have different flavors. Anyways, this is from what was seen at Res, and this is going to be the use of an assassination. Now, I'm not sure if this is using a character agent or if it's just kind of an option. Basically, the way it works is you have these diplomatic options that you can expend political capital on. Next, this is going to be the Dignitary. He's kind of going to fill the traditional diplomat role as the bottom. I think the Greek factions like this and Macedon are going to have more managerial bonuses, bonuses to public order, to taxes. Look at the top, though. That's going to be the one for Egypt, and she looks more like a priestess, so maybe it'll have more to do with the religion, and so it'll be more cultural focused. So you can already see here it's going to have a sort of a variety. Anyways, next, the thing we're going to cover is going to be the different icons that you see on the flags. Look at the top of the flags. They're all individualized. Now look at the banners themselves. They have various pictures on them. So the eye on the very left is kind of, I think, symbolic of an army that's been upgraded to have more subterfuge, whereas the one with the tower is basically maybe stronger in defense, or maybe it's a castle breaker. The one in the middle looks like it's something having to do with magic or potions, so maybe he is better at healing or some sort of mischievous stuff. Also, look at the stance of the guy, look at the tattoos he has in the middle. That all leads me to believe that the representation of your army in the banner has something to do with the way you upgrade it. Next is going to be sort of a standard looking army with the lambda for Sparta. I think that's before you've upgraded him. And the final one on the very right again has the tower. This guy's on defensive mode, and so he has little fortifications around him. Maybe if you upgrade that, you can have better defensive fortifications. Again, we don't know, but I think the way it'll end up working is these flags will visually indicate what your army is good at, and that'll be a good way for you to judge the enemy, see what they're good at, and kind of balance out the strengths and weaknesses before you actually engage in a battle, because otherwise it'll be kind of hard to judge, what army is really good at taking cities. But if you don't, go and look at the individual stats of that unit, I think this is just their visual indicator of, this is going to be, for example, a good sieging army. Also, I'd like to point out that this right here, he's in defensive stance. There's multiple stances if you don't remember. One of them is defensive, one of them is muster mode to rally and recruit troops. Another one is force march, which allows you to move farther, but your troops are going to be, you know, how do I say it, very tired and susceptible to attack. And also, take a look at the background here. I found this. Now, maybe that's a small city, but also maybe it's a fort. Now, we just saw the guy in defensive mode where he had, you know, the ring of spikes, but over here, this is definitely bigger than spikes. So again, it might be a city, but maybe it's also a fortress. This is something we've seen in previous Total War games where you can build a fortress on a site, and it gives you an actual built-up fort. So maybe now you do have the ability to build forts. Again, I don't want to speculate too much. This could be a city, but if it is a fort, that would be pretty important because, as we've seen with the Total War map, you can move in force march. That means its armies are going to be much more fluid and mobile. You can cross rivers easily. You can cross oceans easily. And so I think the use of forts is going to be very important for defending your territory. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see the use of these larger forts that you can place on the battlefield in order to basically lock down your territory. Also, I figured I'd point out how some of these banners are, you know, faction-wide. So, for example, the skull and crossbones here, it could be, you know, maybe you can decorate your emblem. It has nothing to do with your army. But take a look at all these forces. They have these, like, triple golf club things on the back of them. And also, they have the skull and crossbones on all of them. I think they're similar, and I think that's because the armies have been upgraded similarly. I'm guessing the skull and crossbones means they're good at marauding, they're good at raiding, they're good at killing. They have good, you know, attack and defense stats. They're very good or maybe they just instill fear, maybe they have strong morale, but it definitely looks like it's some uniting factor about all of these various guys, and that's why they have this skull and crossbones flag. Now, something you're going to notice here is look in the foreground where there's that red skull. That's going to be a sign of attrition, and that's something we've seen on the campaign map. In the desert, in the winter regions of the north, you will suffer attrition. Now, take a look at the back. Take a look at those crows. I was wondering what that was, but take a look at that Gallic, I'm not sure what army that is, the Gallic army or whatnot, but it's a tattered banner as well as having crows around it. So I think the crows are going to be a way to visually show once again that this army is damaged. And I think that's something they're building into this campaign map is a lot of these small, subtle visual cues that allow you to learn more about forces. So for example, the banner kind of clues you off onto you know, not only how many forces there are based off, you know, the bars on it, not only what faction it is, but also what type of army it is based off the, you know, is it a castle or is it a skull and crossbones, and also now if it's been damaged based off the tattered banner. Now with the tattered banner we've seen before, but the implementation of the crows also makes it seem that much more obvious that this is a weakened army, and you know, it might be more frail than the otherwise full banner would imply. So that's something that I wanted to point out that you may have missed, and it's something that we've actually seen in previous videos, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that just to prove my point that this is coupled with attrition, because in the video that I show that comes from basically the campaign walkthrough, we see on this video here that there's an army stationed here, and you'll see once I play the video, the attrition symbol above the guy's head is going to be blinking, as well as having the crows circle him. So something is definitely up with that guy. But then again, he's on an island that doesn't seem to have attrition, so maybe he's just damaged or being raided or having a character attack him. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in. Stay tuned, I'll have a lot more videos. There's a ton of news coming out soon. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.